Charlie, I'm just going to get right to it. Let's go to number 1, and you're going with the Cardinals selecting Kyler Murray, so no big surprise there.
No, hey, Kingsbury, you got your guy. Here comes the air raid. 5'10" and all. But this guy makes every throw in the book, short, deep. He's athletic. He'll be able to get outside the pocket and make throws. Going to be an exciting player to watch with Cliff Kingsbury as a rookie head coach.
So Cliff and Kyler together at last. Then we go to the second pick with the 49ers, and they get their guy, Nick Bosa.
Absolutely. They've been trying to get a defensive end on the outside in the draft, and they haven't been able to do it. They can rush the passer. Bosa falls to him right here. Now, on the other side, you got Dee Ford. Dee Ford, to me, is a number 2 rusher. This guy's your number 1 rusher. In that defense, you want to go with 4 men to rush and be able to defend with the zone. They finally are able to play the scheme they want to play. Bosa's going to have a great year.
So the Niners, they continue to build that pass rush. Then at number 3, the Jets are up, and they grab Josh Allen.
Well, the for sale sign is up, but there's no takers. Nobody wants to move up to 3 and give up anything. But guess what? The Jets need a pass rusher, outside linebacker, defensive end. Greg Williams plays every defense, he tells us, and this guy can play every defense on the outside to rush the passer. Here comes the sack exchange again in New York.
I love this, him teaming up with Leonard Williams. That is going to be a force. So who might the Raiders be picking at number 4? So Rashawn Gary, he goes to the Raiders with that 4th pick. So why are you going there with the Michigan man? Why is he a good fit, Charlie?
Well, I'm going with needs. They absolutely need a defensive end. In fact, they need 2 defensive ends. So we got to start with 1. I don't think they can get a defensive end pass rusher in the late 20s where they're picking. Now, Rashawn Gary, the guy has all the skills to do that. You look at the tape this year, you'd like more production. But he played with only 40% strength in his shoulder. He played tough. He played physical. You got the Cincinnati Bengal defensive coordinator there, and you got your head coach, Gruden. Both of them have taken players that have potential and that may not have been the greatest producers in the world. Carlos Dunlap in Cincinnati. This guy's a lot better than him coming out of college. A little bit of a risk, but he's got all the talent in the world. And by the way, if they don't take him, the Giants will take him at 6. What's the difference between 4 and 6?
That's true. Okay, so Bucky, let's get your take on this one. Why is Rashawn Gary? Do you think he's a top 4 pick, and do you like the fit?
I don't necessarily think he's a top 4 pick based on his production, but as a projection, yes, because athleticism, he has all the traits. You think of his length, his speed, his quickness, the strength that he's displayed on tape. He certainly is there. I think the big thing for the Oakland Raiders, do they have the coaches that can get the talent out of them and allow that production? I'm going to go on the record and say yes. Mike Turgovat, Brenson Buckner, 2 guys that I was with the Carolina Panthers, they have been known to really coax that kind of talent out of guys that may have been known as underachievers. I think they will teach Rashawn Gary how to play and how to play at a high level in Oakland.
Okay, so when you watch him play, Lance, who does he remind you of that's a current player?
Well, he reminds me a lot of Ezekiel Ansah. And I think this comp really is born from where they were coming out as out of the draft at the same time. Where Gary is now and what he is and what Ezekiel Ansah was coming out. Coming out, Ezekiel Ansah was a big, explosive traits guy that had all this potential. He just needed more production. But you saw the flashes. And that's what you continue to see. You saw more production with Ansah as he progressed in the NFL. With Rashawn Gary, it's the same thing. You see the flashes, you see the traits, you see the explosiveness, and I could see a similar career trajectory with Rashawn Gary. So I think he really comps favorably to Ezekiel Ansah, but both guys had to really elevate their game once they got into the league. We saw Ezekiel Ansah do it. Now let's see if Rashawn Gary can do it.
I'm sure defensive coordinator Paul Guenther would be happy to hear that after losing Khalil Mack. Now let's move on to the Bucs at number 5, and they get their man from LSU, Devin White, Charlie.
Well, they need a lot of things on defense. They can use everybody on defense. But what I like about White is instincts. This guy can find the football. He'll come downhill and make the play. He'll get to the outside to make the play. He can run with receivers. The guy can do everything as an inside linebacker. Excellent instincts, though.
I love this. After Quan Alexander leaves, they just get another LSU guy to fill right in. Then at number 6, the Giants are up on the board, and they go for their man, Quinnen Williams.
Hey, Dave Gettleman, he's doing jumping jacks up there, the old Springfield College phenom. Guess what? This is the best player on their board at this point. He's always going to go with the best player. They need help defensively, inside and outside. This guy is a top pick. Some people might even put him as the best defensive lineman in the draft. Rushes the passer, can play the run.
Yep, he can do it all. So there you see picks 1 through 8 up there on the board. Kyler off the board first, followed by 5 defensive players. Jacksonville grabbing offensive tackle Jawaan Taylor. But what is up for number 8? Uh-oh. Is this a trade? I think so. We got a trade coming up, Charlie. The Panthers moving up to 8. The Lions move back to 16. So who do you like here?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's Montez Sweat from Mississippi State. Why make the trade? The pass rushes are flying off the board. You better get one. Now, all of a sudden, you're not going to get one back where you go. So you make a trade with Detroit. Detroit like to get a corner. Better value back there. Sweat, speed on the outside, athletic ability, has hand use, can get inside, can take all the moves you want as a pass rusher. Definite threat. Hey, Julius Peppers, he couldn't play forever.
No, not at all. 4.41 too. That speed is incredible. Would the Panthers do this, Lance?
Yeah, I think it's conceivable, to be honest with you, because Sweat is one of those guys who's in that tier, a higher tier. And then when you look at the way the board lays out, you do see, as Charlie mentioned, a little bit of a run on those a lot of a run on those pass rushers. So when they were set to draft, I don't think there would be that pass rusher available. Montez Sweat can stand up. He can rush with a hand in the ground. We saw he's an explosive athlete, tested off the charts, and really is an ascending talent. He's got 2 straight years of plus production in the SEC as a rusher. What's not to like about that profile as a rusher?
Yeah, and his stock really rose too at the Senior Bowl and the Combine. What do you like him? Why do you like him, and what makes him so valuable? Bucky?
He checks off a lot of boxes in what you look for in an edge rusher. He's long, he's rangy, he's athletic, he has terrific first-step quickness. There you see him get off the ball, quick dip and rip. He's able to take the quarterback down. You're talking about someone in the last 2 years who has 22-plus sacks and is able to consistently do it. There you see the hand skills working and outmaneuvering. It's uncommon to find someone who plays as hard as he does, who also has the athleticism. Here you see him ID the quarterback, finds him, tracks him down. There's an art to being able to get quarterbacks down. He has mastered it. He is an artist on the edge. One of the reasons why I've really fallen in love with him throughout this process. He's a dominant player who understands how to play the game the right way. Also, he's not afraid to be a guy that is a factor against the ring.
They could certainly use a guy like him, especially in the division where they have Drew Brees and Matt Ryan, those quarterbacks. So I like that pick there for the Panthers. And look, you guys can play it along too right at home. Just go to NFL.com, predict the pick, and it's open right now. You can do your own mock drafts and see how you score against other users. It's a great game. I might go and do it after the show. Who knows what's going to happen?
I might do one.
All right, here's a recap of the first 8 picks. 5 of the first 8 are defensive linemen. Then Kyler Murray and Jawaan Taylor, of course, are the only offensive players off the board. No big surprise there. But now we have the number 9th pick on the board here for the Bills. And Charlie, you have them going with Andre Dillard.
Absolutely. You got a franchise quarterback potentially in Josh Allen. Protect him. Dillard's the best pass blocker in this draft, and he's a left tackle. You put him there, and then you move Deion Dawkins over to the right side, where I think he'll be a better pass blocker than he is on the left side.
Yep, you got to protect Josh Allen. So now we have the 10th pick, and Charlie, I can't wait for this. So Charlie, you have TJ Hawkinson going to the Broncos at 10, and look, we know that Joe Flacco, he loves a tight end, right?
Absolutely. In fact, our great statistician, Eric Lemus, came up with this stat. Guess what? His higher passer rating to any position is tight end. Throw it to the tight end, Joe. The heck with everybody else. Eric's stats prove that's what you do best. Now, here he is. He's an all-do tight end. Guy can block. He can catch. He can run. He can get open. He's got great hands. You can line this guy up at tight end. H-back. Put him out receiver. He's a mismatch for everybody. Flacco's got his inside receiver. Let's go, Joe.
So they're sticking with Joe. Lance, how do you like this fit with the Broncos?
I think it's one of the cleanest fits in any mock you can have. I really, truly believe that Hawkinson to the Broncos makes some of the best sense that you'll see in any mock draft because it's simple. Not only is it a big need, he's the perfect fit for a quarterback that can push it down the field and rip it into the seams. And that's what TJ Hawkinson can do. He can work the second and third levels as a pass-catching tight end. And he's a good blocker, too. So he steps in right away into their wide position.
That's a key right there. He can catch and he can block. So who does he remind you of?
He reminds me of Jason Witten, the guy who retired and came back and is now playing for the Cowboys again. He is a carbon copy of what Jason Witten has been able to do for the Dallas Cowboys for years. He's an old school throwback tight end, a Y, meaning he can block on inline, he can run routes over the middle of the field. He will be able to develop that Y option route that Jason Witten has been able to make famous in Dallas. I just love TJ Hockenson. I think he's a dominant player. He is one of my gold jacket guys as well.
Ooh, gold jacket guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like to issue those things out. Everybody
Hey
get a jacket.
now.
Here's a jacket for you.
For you. So Hockenson, he joins Emmanuel Sanders and Courtland Sutton there in Denver. Here we have picks 9 through 16. Devin Bush, he's gone, going to Cincy at 10 after Vontaze Burfict is no longer there. Then Cody Ford going to the Packers, a guy many people saw. Uh-oh, it's a trade alert, guys. That's right, number 13. We got the Giants trading up, Charlie, and who are they getting?
Well, I'll tell you what, the Redskins are sitting there. They need a quarterback. The Giants can't believe that their man, Dwayne Haskins, is on the board. Miami, no, they're not going to take him. They want to build with physical people up front. So here come the Giants, and they get their man, Dwayne Haskins, big, strong arm guy. He'll throw right through the winds at the Meadowlands. He doesn't have to play right away as he learns this system. My best quarterback in the draft, and he's going to the Giants.
So they're leapfrogging the Redskins here for the quarterback. Could you see this happening, Lance?
Yeah, I could, but here's the problem. I think a lot of this is going to depend on what happens with the Arizona Cardinals and Josh Rosen. Because if the rumors about Rosen to the Redskins end up materializing, then all of a sudden Washington is no longer that team that poses a threat. So I don't know if the Giants would make that move up. So I think a lot of this is contingent upon whether or not Rosen gets moved on draft day to the number 15 spot.
Look, there's a big game of dominoes, but I do believe this is something that could be in play. Dwayne Haskins is the best quarterback in the draft. I love the way he spins it from the pocket. He's an old school classic drop back quarterback. The Giants have one of those in place, but now you get a younger, sleeker version with better arm talent. You surround him with the right weapons. I think he's a franchise quarterback that can win a ton of games.
Franchise quarterback, younger, sleeker version. Uh-oh. I like the sound of it, but
New York State of Mind, it's the Jay-Z. It's the Jay-Z version instead of Frank Sinatra.
That's perfect for the Giants. Here's a look at Charlie Casserly's 1 through 16 picks here in his mock 2.0. As you can see, the first 3 picks, Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa, and Josh Allen there. No big surprise, but the first surprise, we have the Panthers trading up, swapping spots with the Lions to get Montez Sweat. And then over here at 13, the Giants taking their quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. They trade it with Miami, who have the number 17 pick, and that brings us to Clutch Picks presented by Bridgestone. And Charlie, you're going with Christian Wilkins here.
Hey, Miami trades back, and they get the player they would have taken if they hadn't made a trade. I got Wilkins as a top 10 player in the draft ability-wise. Why? Quick off the ball, explosive, can stuff the run, good bull rush on the pass rush, and also shows the athletic ability to win one-on-one with quickness as he does there.
So the rebuild has begun in Miami. Then at 18, the Vikings are on the clock, and they get an offensive lineman to help protect Kirk.
Absolutely. You got to protect Mr. Cousins there. Now, here's the thing with Jonah Williams. I know he can play guard, but he lines up at tackle, and he did a pretty good job. So I would line him up at tackle. If he doesn't do it, you move into guard. But if you line him up at tackle, you move Riley Reed into guard. Either way, you're going to be better at one of those two positions with Jonah Williams.
That definitely fills a pressing need for the Vikings, and that was Clutch Picks presented by Bridgestone. The first wide receiver off the board, DK Metcalf at 19 to the Titans. So why do you like this fit with Marcus Mariota and the Titans?
Well, I'll tell you what, Colleen, when you look at these receivers, you can ask 5 people how they rate them, and you'll probably get 5 different ratings. The thing I like about Metcalf that helps Mariota is deep speed. That's one thing they don't have. This guy has got great speed. He plays fast on tape, and he runs fast when you time him. That's the combination you want to see. What he does is he changes the defensive coverages. Now you got to lay off him. That's going to loosen up the run for Derrick Henry, who's an outstanding running back. It's going to help simplify the coverages that Mariota is going to see. Not that he can't read coverages, but this guy's got great speed. The hands, to me, are above average, and the routes aren't as bad as people tell me. I think this guy's got some potential to improve on routes. So all of a sudden, you got to change those coverages. Derrick Henry going to get an extra 50 yards a game. How about that stat?
I love it. I like it.
Probably
yeah.
not true, though.
Watching DK Metcalf, he just looked like a monster, besides the 3-cone, at the combine. But why do you like him, Bucky?
I like him because he's a specialist. He's a deep ball specialist. He is someone that you can build around if you just ask him to be a vertical playmaker. Speed, burst, explosiveness, his ability to take off the defense, take the top off the coverage is second to none. And when we look at the tape, it shows up right away. Here, one-on-one, forget about it. Big, physical, has a great job of getting inside, and then he can separate. Look at the separation right there. How about 3-4 yard separation? Then he reaches out, makes the catch, and then he finishes it. Charlie talked about his ability to change coverage and change the way defenses have to play against physical run team. His explosiveness allows you to do so. Once again, guys off, eats up the cushion right away, goes and gets it. Look, if I'm a team that I take DK Metcalf, I'm only going to ask him to run 4 routes. Go, post, deep over, and an occasional comeback. Because, once again, comeback, catches it, makes it happen down the sideline. These are the kind of plays that he can make. Don't draft him and try and make him a number 1 receiver. Allow him to be the vertical playmaker and threat that he is. You do that, you'll score a lot of touchdowns, and your running back will be very, very happy.
And you help out your quarterback, too. I mean, the fact that Corey Davis is sort of their number 1 right now, so they definitely need some more weapons. Who do you compare him to, though, when you watch his play?
Well, and now he's got rare height, weight, speed, right? And the rare height, weight, speed is going to be Josh Gordon. That's the physical comp. But when you look at how he could impact the game, I'm going to go a little off the grid here and go with the player in my hometown in Houston, and that's Will Fuller. And what Will Fuller's been able to do for the Houston Texans offense is his speed and the ability to get vertical has really helped the Texans' running game. And, of course, he offers an explosive playmaker down the field. So you get the chunk plays down the field, but the real hidden gem here is that it really pushes safeties off the line of scrimmage, which helps the wide receiver on the other side, DeAndre Hopkins in that case, and it also helps the running game. It pulls his safeties out of the box and has an impact. And that's why when Charlie mentioned the fact that you could see all those extra yards for Derrick Henry, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I love it. I love this pick for John Robinson's squad. That's a good one. Let's take a look, though, here at picks 17 through 24. The Steelers, they grab a corner there. Washington's Byron Jones. Brian Burns, he's off the board to Seattle. And then, trade alert. The Eagles, they trade up, and they're trading for a lineman, Charlie.
Absolutely. Hey, the reason they won the Super Bowl, not Nick Foles, though he did play well, it was the offensive line. They were outstanding. Last year, the offensive line at the end of the year, Nick Foles never got hit. It's always been the offensive line, starting with Andy Reid. Howie Roseman learned under Andy Reid. Jason Peters can't play forever, so here comes Greg Little to save the left tackle position for the next 10 years. Like this guy as a pass blocker. Very smooth, good knee bend, good leverage.
Charlie, I don't know how I feel about the Nick Foles shade, but that's okay. We'll move right along. No worries. Let's go to the next pick here. The Raiders at 24, and they're going with a tight end, Irv Smith.
Yes, sir. Now, good lineage. We know his dad played in the National Football League. What I like about him is the speed and explosion. This guy gives you a deep threat, and that's what you want from the tight end position. He plays fullback, H-back, tight end. Line him up wide, so we know he's a smart guy that can play multiple positions. Is he a top blocker? No, but Jared Cook sure wasn't. Anyway, this guy will improve and be a better blocker than Cook. When you line him up, and here comes the rest of those guys, they got Antonio Brown and Terrell Williams. Hey, who are you going to cover? Only can double one of them.
Hey, that's a fact right there. So what do you think, Bucky, when you see Irv Smith in this lineup?
Oh, I like the fit. I actually like the fit of Irv Smith going to the Oakland Raiders, and part of it is because John Gruden comes from Mike Holmgren's coaching tree. And anyone who knows Coach Holmgren, knows the West Coast, knows that the tight end is a critical part of that offense. You have to be able to work the middle of the field. And when I think about AB being on one side, Terrell Williams being on the other side, and then they're eventually going to get a feature back, the Y is going to be the easiest way for them to exploit mismatches. Irv Smith is a guy that can do it because he's an athletic freak. He does a great job of being versatile, can do a variety of different things on the inside. He is someone that can be a difference maker in Oakland.
Yeah, and I think what you talked about is the mismatch. That's what's critical here is he allows you to change what you do personnel-wise from a grouping standpoint. You come out looking like you're a two tight end set at 12, and then all of a sudden he's flexed out in the slot, he's flexed out wide, he's in the backfield as a fullback. It really allows you the versatility with your personnel groupings to come out with different formations, and I think formation other teams into difficult matchups.
I just keep thinking about that juke move in the Mercer game when I think of him. It's It was really something else. It was a special move, I think. So we have Irv Smith going to the Raiders there. Welcome back to Mock Draft Live. Here's a little refresher. Picks 1 through 8 in Charlie's Mock 2.0. And Carolina popping in there at 8 to get their guy, Montez Sweat, in the trade up. Then we have 9 through 16, the first tight end off the board to Denver at 10, TJ Hawkinson. 17 through 24, the first wide receiver off the board there. 19 to the Titans, DK Metcalf. And that brings us to 25, the Ravens on the board. And they go with Hollywood, Charlie.
Marquise Brown, yes, sir. Lamar Jackson's got his go-to guy. This guy will be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL right away. Explosive speed. Probably the fastest guy in the draft, in my opinion. You're not going to cover this guy with your third corner. You may not be able to cover him with your number one corner. Guy is outstanding at making big plays.
He's one of my favorite receivers in this entire draft. Then you have at 26 the Colts. They're going with another receiver. The receiver run is starting. A.J. Brown, Ole Miss is off the board.
Well, I need to get a guy opposite T.Y. Hilton. They signed Devin Funchess in free agency, but I don't think that's the answer here. Now, to me, this guy's the best all-around receiver in the draft. Best thing he does is separation from the defensive back on his route and his run after catch. He is not a top speed guy, but T.Y. Hilton is, so they'll be okay there.
Yeah, he sort of looks like a running back a little bit after the catch. So I'm going to ask you guys this here. Best receiver in the draft. Bucky, you are up first.
You know, normally I would say Marquise Hollywood Brown because Hollywood Brown has explosiveness. But I'm going to go another Brown. I'm going to go with A.J. Brown from Ole Miss. A.J. Brown is a versatile playmaker. And for my number one receiver, I want a guy that can do it all. He can line up outside. He can line up inside in the slot. He can dominate with big body moves. He also has enough quickness to create separation. And what I like about him, when I look at the tape, I see the production to match the traits. He's going to be a dominant player in the league.
Lance?
I think it's a really hard one. My highest grade is DK Metcalf, but that's he might be and A.J. Brown and Marquise Brown, more he will be a type of player. And what I mean by that is, Marquise, here's what I know I'm getting with Hollywood. A guy who can stretch defenses just like you're seeing. He can really run. I don't need him to run a 40 to know that he's a sub-4.40 guy. He's that fast. He's going to stretch the field like Will Fuller, who we talked about earlier. But the other thing he can really excel at is the catch and run underneath. So you got a guy who can work the third level and the first level equally impressively. And I think what that does for NFL teams right now is it gives them a player who is an instant weapon on the field. He's just a little smaller. That's my problem.
And that gives Lamar Jackson a guy to work with as he sort of incorporates some more things into his style of play, like throwing the ball.
Well, actually, when you push the ball down the field, Hollywood Brown certainly can stretch the field.
All right, now let's get to Scouts Market, presented by Nationwide and Daniel Jones. Charlie Casserly has him going 28 to the Chargers, Phillip Rivers' successor, but you can see here where he kind of falls, where his stock is on everybody else's drafts, mock drafts on NFL.com. And DJ had him slipping out of the first round. Bucky had him 17 to the Giants. MJD agrees with Bucky. Peter also did not have him going in the first round. So, Charlie, what makes Daniel Jones the most pro-ready quarterback in this draft?
2 words, vision and anticipation. Vision, I define as being able to read your receivers and your progression, 1 to 2 to 3. You see the blitz, bang, you got it out there, and you hit it to the hot receiver. Now, anticipation, throwing the ball before the guy makes the break, seeing the blitz and getting it out quick. I think guy's outstanding in both of those things. Guess what? What wins the National Football League? Vision and anticipation from a quarterback. I think the guy, that's why I say he's the most pro-ready quarterback in this year's draft.
Welcome back to Mock Draft Live. A look here at picks 1 through 8 in Casserly's 2.0 draft. Pretty standard at the top, and then we have at number 8 the Panthers trading up to get Montez Sweat. Picks 9 through 16, we have 2 offensive tackles, the second quarterback off the board as well, with the Giants trading up to 13. 17 through 24, we got teammates off the board from Mississippi, DK Metcalf and Greg Little. And then the Bama boys are gone, Jonah Williams and Irv Smith. 25 through 32, there you have it. Drew Lock is a Patriot to close out round 1. All right, so we got Drew Lock there. So why do you like him to the Patriots, Charlie?
I think he's too good to pass up here. They have needs at tight end, pass rusher, wide receiver. But to me, this guy would be the highest graded guy on my board. Now, I do think this guy has a future to be a starter in the league. I feel confident about that. He has very good arm talent. He's athletic. He has a nice touch on the deep ball. I thought he made good decisions in the games I watched. And yeah, he'll spray some balls at every now and then, but I wouldn't say he's an inaccurate passer. Now, you got the guy for 5 years. Brady will be 46 by then. He's bound to retire at that point.